Turns out losing a match isn't the worst part. I'd been playing like a sleep-deprived llama for 2 hours straight, overhitting and underthinking. The crowd gave that polite applause people reserve for respectable losers. I walked to the net, shook hands, forced a smile for the cameras. My opponent told me, "I've looked up to you forever." Back in the tunnel, I dropped my bag and leaned against the concrete wall. That night I spent with my husband. Ryan poured me a glass of red wine, my favorite bottle, opened without asking and lit a candle. Smooth jazz played from the speaker in the corner. "You okay?" he asked, smiling like nothing was wrong. I nodded. "Sure. You'll bounce back. You always do." I looked at him. Clean-shaven, crisp shirt, sleeves rolled just right. 35 going on catalog husband. He used to show up to matches in beat-up sneakers and a hoodie. Now he dressed like he was one business brunch away from launching a wellness app. "My name's Claire. I'm 28. I play tennis for a living. Or I used to. Now I mostly play not to lose. I peaked 3 years ago. Slam semifinals, magazine covers, global deals. Then I fractured a wrist, dropped some matches, changed coaches, changed rackets, changed agents. The usual spiral." Ryan said it was time to simplify. "You need peace." He started managing my calendar, my interviews, my brand. Said it was temporary, just until I got back on my feet. That was 2 years ago. Now, he runs everything. He used to be my hitting partner. That's how we met. I was 23, he was 30, fit but not flashy, smart, with that relaxed confidence you can't fake. We laughed a lot in those early days. Late-night pizza in hotel rooms, dumb nicknames, long walks after losses. I trusted him. I wasn't sure what I trusted anymore. A few weeks ago, my card got declined at a hotel in Madrid. Embarrassing, but whatever. Ryan said the bank flagged it as fraud. Last month, I found out my contract with a luxury shoe brand had been cut. Ryan said they ghosted. My agent, the one I had before Ryan made me switch, told me they'd pulled out after someone from my camp kept delaying paperwork. A pattern was forming. I didn't have evidence yet. Just a growing sense of being boxed in. Like my life had quietly narrowed down to Ryan's version of what it should be. 3 days after the match, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, still in my robe, brushing my teeth, when I saw the message pop up on Ryan's phone, left unlocked, screen up, on the sink. "Don't worry. She suspects nothing." That was it. No context. Just one of those little sentences that changes everything. He came in right then, picked up the phone, smiled at me. "Sleep okay?" he asked. I nodded. He kissed my forehead. "Try to rest today. I'll handle the sponsor call." Then he walked out, like nothing had happened. That night, I met up with Maya, my former doubles partner. We'd shared sweat, stress, and 5 straight first-round exits before she'd torn her ACL and retired. She sipped her cocktail and gave me a long look. "You okay? You look like a hostage in designer sunglasses." I smiled. "I'm just tired." "You're always tired. You're also lying." I picked at my salad. "Ryan's been weird. With the money, mostly. And decisions. Things just don't feel right." She tilted her head. "You want me to ask around?" I hesitated. "Not yet." She nodded. "Start paying attention to what he avoids saying." But when I got home that night, I remembered, about sponsor call cancelled, closed account in Madrid, travel assistant fired suddenly, Maya's reaction. It wasn't evidence, but there was something anyway. I was supposed to be at the gym. Instead, I was at the club spa, in a robe, eating blueberries I didn't pay for, eavesdropping on the front desk. Mr. Rish said she wouldn't be needing the deep tissue package anymore. My name perked up before my body did. The girl behind the counter said it sweetly, like canceling someone's back muscles was a romantic gesture. I walked up. "Hi," I said, smiling. Mr. Rish was wrong. "I'll be needing every tissue, deep and otherwise." I took another blueberry and walked off. Back home, Ryan was in full performance mode. White t-shirt, laptop, glasses he only wore when he wanted to look in focus. He looked up. "Thought you were training." "Changed my mind." He nodded like he'd just granted me permission to think for myself. "You seemed tight yesterday." "Taking a breather smart." I sat down across from him. "By the way, I'm keeping the spa package. Just in case you were planning to cancel my kidneys next." He smiled. "Claire." "Didn't love finding out through the receptionist." "It was a miscommunication." "That's what you said when my Amex stopped working in Madrid." He laughed. "Okay. You're officially paranoid." He shut the laptop. "What's going on?" "You tell me." He stood, came over, kissed my forehead. "Babe. Everything I do is for you." That was supposed to reassure me. It sounded like a threat. That weekend, we went to a charity dinner for the Children's Tennis Initiative. Black tie, bad speeches, great wine. I wore a green dress Ryan had picked out weeks ago. I looked stunning, which is the least a girl can do when her life's falling apart. Ryan floated around the room like he was running for office. I floated too, just with better shoes. Near the bar, a man with a Polish accent and suspiciously white teeth said, "Claire Rish in the wild. We miss you in Basel." I blinked. "You were at Basel?" "I run Basel." "You invited me?" He laughed. "Of course. Your husband said you passed." "Did he?" He looked confused. "Yes. He said you didn't want to do indoor anymore." "Well," I smiled, "sounds like someone forgot to loop me in." I walked away before he could say more. Ryan found me 3 minutes later. "Did Marek just try to pitch you something?" "Marek's adorable." "He's a snake." "Most adorable things are." He narrowed his eyes. "You're acting weird." "Don't Claire me." "I'm enough." We got home. I went straight to the balcony. He followed and asked, "You want to say something?" "Basel offered me double," I said. "You never told me." His jaw twitched. That's how I knew I was right. It wasn't a good fit. "For who?" He ran a hand through his hair. "Why are you turning this into a war?" "Because I'm tired of losing battles I didn't know I was in." The next day, Maya picked me up. She said we were going to a brunch full of gossipy ex-athletes and emotionally unstable agents. Maya leaned in. I asked around. Quietly, but successfully. She pulled out her phone. Showed me an account statement under a company name I didn't recognize. Bay Cedar Holdings. "That's Ryan's," she said. "He's been routing your sponsorship money through it. Claire, he's slowly bleeding you out. So when you finally get tired of him, you'll be too broke to run." I sipped my coffee. "Then he's not very good at math." "Why?" "Because I just started running." Next day I got up at 6. No stretching and no inner peace. Just wide awake and crystal clear. Ryan was still asleep, breathing like a man with nothing to worry about. I left him there. Grabbed a baseball cap, sunglasses, and keys. Skipped breakfast. I was done starting my day on his schedule. First stop was the bank. I used my maiden name. I signed 3 forms. Wired a chunk of my prize money into a new account. One he couldn't touch, one he didn't know existed. The banker said, "Starting fresh?" I smiled. "Something like that." Then met with a lawyer. She looked over the contract I brought in like it was a dirty napkin. "What exactly do you want to do?" she asked. "Win." She nodded. "That's my favorite kind." I gave her everything. Sponsorships, signed deals, weird shell company names. She didn't blink. Just wrote things down and circled items like they'd personally offended her. I'll draw up the transfer protections. Move your image rights out of joint holdings. File without tipping him off. You'll need to sit tight for now. Good, my training will help dealing with rage. She raised an eyebrow. I think we are a good team. I hit the courts like a woman training for something. I served until my shoulder ached. Hit backhands until my grip blistered. I wasn't playing for rankings anymore. I was playing to remember who I was before someone dressed me in stability and called it love. I let people watch and talked. Let the rumors breathe a little. At home I played nice. Ryan had made dinner. Seared salmon, some kind of faro situation, a garnish he clearly Googled. You're glowing, he said. That break's helping. I smiled. Must be the turmeric. That night I borrowed his phone. I didn't even need the passcode. Still the same, our wedding date. Cute. I just opened his files. Forwarded 3 folders to my own drive. One was named Consolidated Holdings, which definitely didn't sound like someone who just bought throw pillows on credit. I put the phone back where I found it. The next morning, I accepted a wild card slot in Charleston. Smiled for the cameras. Played clean. Tight strokes and sharp footwork. Just enough to wake up the crowd. I made the quarters. Withdrew because of minor hamstring strain. I wasn't injured. Not physically. But I figured it'd look better than strategic patience. Online chatter started. I ignored it. Posted one photo, an old, beat-up pair of shoes next to my racket bag. Caption, some things still hold. Meanwhile, Ryan was getting louder. Calling more. Asking where I was, even when I was 5 feet away. He started pitching new deals, new projects, new versions of a life. I agreed and smiled, even booked us dinner reservations for the next weekend. Let him believe that we are still a family. Then I went to see 2 men my dad used to train with. The kind of guys who know when you're faking a serve and when you're faking a marriage. I handed them a manila envelope. I didn't have to say much. One of them looked at the papers. You ready to win this? I said, I'm not here to play a match. He nodded and made a call. That night, Ryan went to a dinner meeting. I might be late, he said. You always are. I poured a glass of wine, opened my laptop, and watched the money move. New accounts, new protections, new terms. Everything locked. Everything clean. And just like that, I was back in the game. I started smiling again. That kind of smile people mistake for calm, not realizing it's just strategy wearing lip balm. Ryan stopped asking questions. We hosted a cocktail night. Technically, he did, guest list, venue, the whole thing. Networking, he said. A handful of agents, 2 potential investors, a washed-up Olympian with a media deal. The party was at a rooftop lounge downtown. Polished concrete, glass walls, free-flowing gin. Ryan wore navy and confidence. I wore black and silence. I stood beside him and watched him perform. Firm handshakes, laughter with teeth. Phrases like long-term brand trajectory tossed around like coins in a fountain. He introduced me to someone as the foundation of the business. I nodded, smiled, said nothing. I already knew the foundation was cracked. The following morning, I met with my lawyer. Her office smelled like burnt coffee and control. We reviewed everything, shell company activity, misuse of my income, unauthorized transfers, the structure of our personal accounts. He diverted over $200,000 across 5 months into a holding company under his name. Most of it from sponsorship bonuses he never reported. A few properties held for tax strategy that didn't actually exist. A legal one, too. Enough to look legitimate, unless you were looking at it with a scalpel. All of it lined up the way I'd feared. He hadn't made a mistake. He'd made a map. But we had leverage, precision. I'm filing, I said. I need everything back. The lawyer nodded. You'll get it. My bank accounts shifted, funds moved, access revoked. Endorsements rerouted through new legal vehicles. Legal and irrevocable. I didn't hide it, although I didn't broadcast it either. That's the part that hurts men like Ryan most, when they can't find the moment they lost control. He left for a 2-day trip that Friday. A pitch meeting somewhere he didn't mention. He left casually, like nothing had changed. He even kissed my cheek before closing the door. By the time he landed, the divorce papers were in his inbox. And his name was no longer tied to any of my assets. The email subject line was clean. Dissolution, immediate. The body, 6 lines. No emotion. Just legal terms and numbers. He didn't call. Instead, he tried to move money. He tried to access our joint portfolio. He called one of the lawyers he'd worked with on his branding group. She didn't pick up. I'd already spoken to her first. His silence was loud. Not just shock, calculation. He'd underestimated me, and now he didn't know the shape of the game anymore. I booked a wild card slot in Charleston. Low pressure, mid-season, familiar venue. I played 3 matches. Made the semis. Just clean tennis. The kind I hadn't played in over a year. I didn't celebrate the wins. I logged them. After my 3rd match, a reporter tried to corner me courtside. I gave her a smile and a short answer. Just focusing on the game right now. What I meant, I'm not done yet. The headlines started trickling in by the following week. Nothing dramatic. No front-page exposé. Just little stories, quiet and ugly. Financial discrepancies in a sports investment fund. A firm connected to several high-profile clients closing 4 internal restructuring. One connection, Bay-Cedar Holdings. I didn't comment. I didn't need to. I was already gone by the time the smoke started rising. Ryan texted once. We need to talk. This is insane. I didn't reply. Instead, I logged into the client portal where I'd secured my new portfolio, read through the contract renewal from my biggest sponsor, signed under my name alone, and went to practice. The air felt cleaner. My footwork was lighter. I did not know then, Ryan had a new plan not only to robbing from me, but also to destroy my reputation and career. Sometimes the worst men keep souvenirs. It came 2 days after the Bay-Cedar fallout. After the banks locked up and the lawyers got quiet. After I'd flown to Rome, played my way into the quarterfinals, and started feeling like my body belonged to me again. An email. It was my private, very private photo. Half-covered, the kind of shot someone takes when you trust them. When you don't think to lock the door or check the angle. Taken during our 2nd year of marriage. A second photo came an hour later, and that one was worse. Nothing illegal. Just intimate. A version of me I barely remembered. No name signed at the bottom, but I knew exactly who sent it. My lawyer called me 10 minutes later. She'd gotten the same photos. No message? Not yet, she said. But he's sending them for a reason. I didn't speak. He's trying to scare you. She lowered her voice. Claire, these aren't leaked yet. But they could be. He's betting you'll fold. That you'll settle, stop pursuing the asset recovery. I stared out the window of the hotel. Rome was bright and loud. I felt like I was behind glass. I'm not folding, I said. The next day, the message came. Let it go. Or I don't. There it was. I waited a full day. My lawyer finally caved. He kept everything, she said. Cloud backups. Duplicates. Even stuff you didn't know about. But he also backed up everything to a drive linked to his original Bay-Cedar account. That company's under investigation now. And anything in that system is legally discoverable. Especially if it's being used to blackmail a public figure. I looked at her. You're saying if I don't respond, he's the one committing a crime? She smiled. Exactly. She filed the next morning. We issued a sealed motion to the court handling the civil separation. Included every file, every image, every metadata trace. We framed it exactly right. Intent to harm reputation and obstruct lawful proceedings through non-consensual distribution of private material. The court issued a protection order within hours. Any attempt to release, share, or circulate that material would result in a felony charge. We sent it to every major media outlet with a preemptive legal warning attached. If he leaked anything now, he wasn't just going to lose money, he was going to prison. The photos never surfaced. Ryan's name slowly vanished from every platform that once loved him. His clients dropped. The investors walked. Even the mistress bailed when the press started sniffing around. 6 weeks later, I signed a 3-year deal with a major athletic brand under my own terms, with full image rights and zero joint holdings. The same week, I bought a small beach house with a private court. And for the first time in years, I'm just, okay. And okay feels like winning.